Welcome into the locker room, first of the year. Oh my days. We're making history, Omas. We're creating a lot of history today.
And they say first impression matters a great deal. And so we're giving the great impression because that's how we put our best foot forward into the new year.
Absolutely. We're talking about everything sports this morning. We have Tega on, as always. Tega, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Have you cooked? Me, I used to eat pounded yam and white soup. I don't do all this rice and all this severity. So please just cook the pounded yam with white soup. With fish or dry fish.
No
I don't do
snails?
no, I don't want no snail, no fresh fish, no goat meat,
Just
dry
dry
fish,
fish.
and beef,
All
no
right, to
chicken.
whom it may concern. Tega has told you what she wants,
But
so
why you people doing like this? This is a new year. People
How
should
can you
repent.
take the orders and pass it on to whom it may
Do you
concern?
understand?
What's
Repent.
that
All
now?
it's
right.
called deflection.
All right, so it's a new year, but it's still some poor results for some people. Manchester United fans, Arsenal fans, I'm so sorry, but you are fodder for banter on the first day of the new year. All right, so we'll be
Tega,
touching
have
on that.
mercy.
No, I'm not Messi. I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. There will be all right. All right. So we touch on football. The tennis season has started in full swing. Rafa Nadal has already played a match. I will tell you about that and the consequence of that match he played. Andy Murray is looking towards the end of his career. He says 2024 may be his last. And I'm like, oh, the whole Andy. All right. So we'll touch on those two stories and all the things that happened in the Italian Serie A. But before we do that, Zibby, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room?
It hasn't changed. It's the same way from 2023, same way 2024. You can, of course, tweet at Smooth981, and you can also send us a message via WhatsApp 0809 4440981. And we're streaming live on our YouTube channel. It's Smooth981. That's our channel. Subscribe. You can catch the live stream and then post a comment on there as well.
All right. And Omatseye, can we go through the headlines before we start the stories?
On the bill this morning, Rafael Nadal says he may continue playing beyond 2024 after starting comeback in Brisbane as Eric Ten Hag slams Man United after unnecessary forced loss. As Arteta frustrated by Arsenal's worst performance in defeat at Fulham, then there would be Man City cruise to victory against Sheffield United, as well as Rabiot pushes Juve to within 2 points of leaders Inter. Then comes Ancelotti, snubs Brazil, commits to Real Madrid, and then soaring Liverpool weary of struggling Newcastle, as there will be Parma at the double as Chelsea sink battling Luton Town.
All right. Tega?
I love when managers like Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola say things like, "Oh, we are wary of our opponent." That means they're about to beat you. Silly. That's just what you hear that statement, start crying. It's going to be a beat down. All right. On that note, let's start from the very first story and we'll take it all the way to when Jurgen Klopp plans to do some evil.
All right, so Rafael Nadal began his comeback with a doubles loss at the Brisbane International, but he's not closed the door on playing singles beyond this season.
He started with the doubles and they lost, but again, that's to be expected. Like I said, the man has been out for about a year, has had multiple surgeries, had to find out if he could walk, run, jump, and then he's back at it, playing tennis. And so the first one was the doubles. And I think it was a little tricky because when your body is already breaking down like that and telling you so many bad stories, and you still carry on to sign up for doubles and singles. Most people just want to come in gently. But he's coming in full swing. He's like, I'm playing doubles and I'm playing singles. Bring it on. Bring everything on the plate. So maybe he really just wants to test and see if that body can take him through. But he lost in the doubles, and his singles match he's playing in Brisbane is against another guy that's fighting a comeback and has been extending matches to 3 sets or 5 sets, depending on how long each set goes. is Dominic Thiem. So that's going to be a tough one. And if he really is going to test how good he is or how ready he is for the circuit, that's the best match to test him in. So yes, before then he was saying 2024 could be his last. When I'm sure that was when the doctors were choking him injection and scalping through his knee. But now he's come back on court and he says, I want to play beyond 2024. You can tell that the court is just a happy place for him. So let's see how it goes for him, especially with his body. If I were the wife, I'd be pushing for retirement, but hey, you can't tell people what to do, especially if it makes them happy. But for Andy Murray, he's on court now saying that he thinks that this could be his last year. So he's played a couple of matches. He's tried a few comebacks. He's not really gone deep into a lot of tournaments as he would have loved to. And maybe that's the frustrating part for him. So it's a tough one, but yeah, I think he's signing out time for him. I don't know about Rafa Nadal.
But Tega, did anyone see a certain Naomi Osaka new mom on the court somewhere in Brisbane? Just want to give us something to hint about her.
We are waiting to see her. Give us her. See, we've seen her on court since because she's been training and she's been posting pictures, almost as if to threaten people that are playing tennis. Like, look at me, I'm training, I'm back for you guys. Yes. But I'm thinking Iga Swiatek started the year also brilliantly. Sabalenka is one of those that had such a massive 2024. And if you throw Naomi Osaka in the mix, that just tosses the WTA into worse than the Wild Wild West than it was before. So we'll wait to see how she can put the cats amongst the pigeon when she comes back. But she looks focused, she looks fierce. I have a feeling that she has this plan to come in, win a few tournaments, and then retire permanently. That's what I'm suspecting that she's trying to do. You can see that purpose in her eyes. So it's going to be a tough one. But yeah, we expect to see her play really massively.
Okay, we'll look out for Naomi Osaka, but let's touch base with Erik ten Hag as he slams his Manchester United flops after Saturday's dismal 2-1 defeat at Nottingham Forest, condemned the troubled club to their worst start to a season since 1930.
All right, so he thought Manchester United's performance was dismal on Saturday until he saw Arsenal on Sunday. But before we get there, let's stay with Manchester United. Yeah. After the high of the win against Aston Villa, fighting back from 2-0 down when everybody thought they were down and out. And this was Aston Villa, riding high on win after wins. I think they had 14 wins in a row, and then they're meeting the Manchester United that was, gasping for air. And everybody expected the result to go on Emery's way. Unfortunately, Manchester United showed a spirit that most people thought had been buried for so long and came back into the match, won it by 3-2. So, of course, the spirits are high at Old Trafford. The players are on adrenaline thinking that now we are going to play UEFA Champions League final, even if they're no longer in the UEFA Champions League. They were pumped up. Then they come into the game and Nottingham Forest humbles them. It's the worst thing that can happen to you. When people are that at the bottom of the table are struggling, they humble you. But that is indication of how Manchester United season's been going. Somehow they find a way to get the result when they need it. Maybe they've had a bad run of results. Next thing you know, you expect them to lose, they win. They find a way to get the results when they need it. They find a way to get the results against big teams. But it's against the small teams that they come and show this is their new character. And so why he's surprised to me is concerning, because this is what your boys have been doing all season, losing to the smaller teams. And so that's what they should have prepared for. So of course he's going to slam them. Of course he's going to be upset, and because Manchester United just needs a good run of results. And if they can get back, maybe they'll get back on track. But they faltered again and shown their true nature. So I understand him slamming them, but he should also know that this will be counting for his sack. Because they can fire one coach, they cannot fire 23 players.
All right, Tega, Thanks for that. 0809 4440981 is the WhatsApp number. You can also tweet at Smooth981. And don't forget the live stream 1st of January edition. And it'll be nice to just hop on there, see your Matt and I, and Tega, of course. Just say hello. All right.
Zibby, just before you hit this, Tega, please, I have one special appeal before we get to this next story. Tega, please, it is the 1st of January. Tega, please be gentle.
Please. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta said his side produced their worst performance of the season in a rather damaging 2-1 defeat at Fulham on Sunday that has dealt a further blow to the Gunners' Premier League title aspirations.
Okay, I want to first say that he was the beginning of their worst performance because his starting lineup left a lot to be desired. You know, Arsenal is one of those teams. When I say that the problem is mental, it's not tactical, it's not physical. People say, "Oh, don't say that." They're not mentally ready to win. You know, when a champion wants to win, I tell people all the time. I was the smallest or one of the smallest people in my secondary school, but I was the one that nobody could bully. It did not matter how big you were. You will not bully me. 5'3", you will not bully me. You know, because I had that mindset. There's nothing. What do you want to do? Do you want to bring the army to carry me? What do you want to do? And it's the kind of mindset that people, you know, look at you, and even if you're the tiniest person, they're like, this is the one person we shouldn't be messing with. Arsenal doesn't have that aura. You know, as bad as Manchester City has struggled most seasons this season, and they've dropped few points here and there, people are still wary of them. They're like, these guys are going to come back and still win the Premier League. Even footballers that get on the pitch with them. And so when you have that kind of mentality and you back it up with, you come on the pitch and you're putting pressure after pressure, eventually teams cave because it starts in the mind first. Arsenal doesn't have any fear factor, and it's for the simple reason that they don't have killer instincts. They have a striker who is not judged by the number of goals he scores. In fact, they have two strikers that are not judged by the number of goals he scores. They have wingers that are not judged by the number of assists they've made. They have midfielders who are not judged by the number of creativity they give. So, and they have a coach that is not going to be judged by the lack of trophy in the cabinet. So, what are we fearing? They have no ambition. They have no character. There's nothing to fear. They're just collecting salary and staying at the top of the table till when the true owner comes to collect it from them. And that's the biggest problem. You know, even Ateta can be angry that this was the worst performance, but he started it, you know, with his selection. And then he put an out-of-form Gabriel Martinelli on the pitch with a no-scoring Edin Ketia on the pitch, with a Bukayo Saka that is scoring a few lucky goals here and there on the pitch. And he wanted somehow that results were going to be manufactured. And it's not just those three players. You know, everywhere, even in the midfield, even with Declan Rice with his 105 million, you know, it's just doing the barest minimum at this point in time. Same thing with Odegaard. So it's a collective failure. And then you bring guys from the bench. And I always say this, if you're a guy that is they're substituting from the bench, you need to show the coach that you want to be a starter, you know. But you bring Reece Nelson and Leandro Trossard from the bench and they're just comfortable being bench warmers. So there's no personal ambition, and it leads to no collective ambition, and it leads to the result you're seeing. First at Christmas, fourth in New Year. And in between, it's only 1 week. Imagine if we were 50 days, they'll probably be at the 20th part of the table. So, yes, he can sound the rallying cry. Yes, he can get upset. But the bottom line is they need to look in the mirror themselves and decide for 2024 what they want to do personally, and then collectively they can deliver on that. But yes, it was one of the most horrible performances, and for the first performances I've seen from Arsenal in recent times. And for the first time, there was no wrong refereeing decision that they can latch onto. Let's completely exposed in their incompetence.
See the adjectives you just dropped, and you were just splashing on Arsenal all this while. Oralist, charismaless, and I mean,
even on New Year's Day.
On New Year's Day.
Really?
Let Arsenal people come and defend themselves. If I told a lie, they should come out and defend themselves. The numbers to call are.
You're listening to the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. The conversation continues shortly. Stay with us.
Are there messages?
the journey. And when you have plenty of vegetables like a pork, with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes, even better. So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of North cubes. Today, eat for good.
What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Providence Bank for you to take care of your daily experiences. At Providence Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a Providence Bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 077-684-387 or email businessconcierge@providencebank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience. Providence Bank. Future forward banking. So this breakfast show. Tune in to listening to 98.1 Fresh Express. Fresh Fun.
It's still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Zibby and Omatseye and Tega still with us.
All right, so let's come back.
Tega,
I said, let's come
we know
back.
you're
Let's
there.
come
Stop pretending to vanish and appear. Because those Arsenal fans are coming for you. You're now trying to act like you're not there.
I
She's
bet they
here.
should come. They should come. They should bring it on. If they cannot bring 3 points.
Oh, wow. All right. Muhammad says, Okpeo, Otilo, he don't go. Elephants don't go. One by one,
Thank
them
you.
don't they go. Elephants
Exactly.
don't they fall match by match.
Muhammad, Happy New Year, Jare. How can an elephant be on top of the tree? Very unnatural something.
Oh, wow. All right. Still in football, Manchester City ended a run of 3 successive Premier League home draws with a comfortable 2-0 victory over bottom club Sheffield United on Saturday.
Yes. Again, they would say it was comfortable. There were patches in those matches where Sheffield United really, tried to do something. But like I said, it's Manchester City. Even when you are dominant against them, there's always that fear that this Manchester City, they can score anytime. Now, Manchester City were still without Erling Haaland. And despite the fact that we saw a few pictures of Kevin De Bruyne with the hair, despite the fact we saw that, he still wasn't featuring, and we don't know how far out he is yet. But despite that, Manchester City still had their weapons in their arsenal, and I'm using these particular phrases deliberately to deliver on the 3 goals and the 3 points that they needed. And this is that time of the year where Manchester City just turns it around. Somehow they know Manchester City just tends to have that timing. And that's where it is. They know when to push. Sometimes they drop points when they don't want to drop points. It's not like they're happy to drop points earlier in the year. But they're okay dropping points earlier in the year because they know the run to the end, they somehow find those results. And the winners of the Premier League this season is going to be based on who is able to get a combination of results, a run of good results. That's the winner of the Premier League this season. There's no other formula. So what you need to do is, whether ugly, whether pretty, try to get 3 points after 3 points, not 3 points, 1 point, 0 points, then come back again to 3 points. That Arsenal inconsistency is not going to get you the Premier League. You have to have a run of results, and that's what Manchester City knows how to do, has proven to do over the years, and are trying to do this year. And they started on the right foot with this 3-0 win.
Arsenal fans will hear what before the end of the show.
Today they will cry.
Well, let's go over now to Adrian Rabiot's call to hand Juventus a nil victory over Roma on Saturday that saw the touring club move within 2 points of Serie A leaders Inter Milan.
All right, so Inter Milan had already played an unhealthy draw against Genoa the day before. Napoli again struggled against Monza. And somebody has said that they could have kidnapped Spalletti's family and told him that he shouldn't leave them. Because right now, it seems as if Napoli is digging for oil. and they may find it. But those results kind of played to Juventus. And now Juventus are playing against Roma, and it was going to be a tough match every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And tough it was because Roma made them work hard for it. All the first 45 minutes, Juventus plowed and got as many chances as possible. Then Roma had one or two chances, and the ball looked like it was going to end in the back of the net. Like, what is happening here? But the good news for Juventus was that very early at the start of the second half, Rabiot put the ball in the back of the net to give them a goal. The match wasn't secure till the end of the game, but that goal kind of gave them something to defend. And that's was how they were able to get all 3 points, and they won that tie. So congratulations to Juventus. They've kept up. They've kept in touch with Inter Milan, just 2 points between both teams now, sitting pretty close to the top of the table. But for Roma, I don't know how they're going to get back to the UEFA Champions League with this Arsenal result. Win today, lose tomorrow. Yes, this Arsenal is not Manchester United.
It's the consistency for me. It's the consistency of this. Arsenal become the comeback for every sentence.
So let me tell you, yesterday I was so expectant. I was like, Arsenal is going to do the deed. I hate being expectant that you disappoint me. This is how a disappointed Tega sounds. Very petty and vindictive. So Arsenal will suffer till this show is over.
Wow. Wow. Just wow. Okay. Carlo Ancelotti extended his contract with Real Madrid to June 2026 on Friday, and this has basically ruled him out of becoming Brazil's national coach. That's a snub.
It has not ruled him out of anything. It has just increased his price. Why do people think that just because he signed that he's not going to move if he wants to move? It has just increased the price now. But I think he's happy at Real Madrid. It's a happy marriage what he has with Real Madrid. So the club wants him. He wants to stay at the club, and he's successful so far at the club. So of course, that was an easy decision to make, getting that contract extension. Yes, that may mean bad news for Brazil, but doesn't totally write them off, because you know how it is when you want to go for a new job. They'll say, bring your last pay slip, and then they'll pay you an increase based on that last pay slip. And so that's what it is. The fact that he has extended doesn't mean that he can't move. It just means that should he move now, it will be very expensive for Brazil. But yeah, I doubt he's going to move. He's happy right now at Real Madrid. It's a good time at Real Madrid.
That takes us back to England. Liverpool will look to return to sole possession for a first place on points in the league table when it hosts struggling Newcastle United today.
Yeah, so that's the only job Arsenal had to do: win their match yesterday and sit on top of the table for a few hours. That's all they had to do. Now Liverpool is going to extend that lead between Arsenal and Liverpool by 5 points, and that's how it starts. Once it becomes a 5-point gap, Arsenal are like, we can't do this anymore. An 8-point gap, a 10-point gap to Manchester City is not a problem. A 5-point gap to Arsenal can be like the end of the world. And that's where Liverpool are aiming to look at. Now, they're playing against a struggle Newcastle. And I don't think that because the year has changed, Newcastle's form is just suddenly going to be better. I don't think so. And so it looks like it's advantage Liverpool going into this fixture. And then they have the return of Diogo Jota to make them even happy. And then Mo Salah might like to leave Liverpool fans with one small present before he comes back to Africa for the AFCON. So it's a good time at Liverpool. It looks like they're going to get that result and that consistency that they need. And for Newcastle, it looks like it's going to be a more horrible time because Liverpool takes no prisoners. They will decimate where they can decimate, and they will plunder where they can plunder. So I expect it to be a tough day at the office for Eddie Howe, but this is the Premier League and anything can happen. So let me just leave that tiny sliver of open window for Newcastle, but I don't think they're going to get any joy today.
Okay. Cole Palmer struck twice as Chelsea survived a late scare to banish their away day blues with a 3-2 win against the Premier League strugglers Luton on Saturday. In your face, Tega.
Well, this one, I expected Luton to give Chelsea a tough fight. I was like, Luton will give Chelsea a tough fight, and then Chelsea will win in the last minute. Ask me why Luton went 3-0 down.
Why?
I was just like, Luton, really? The best time to capitulate is against a Chelsea side that is looking for results. But it's been tough, and somehow Luton found a way to come back. In fact, it did look like they were going to get the equalizer several times. They scored one goal that was disallowed correctly for offside. They almost scored another goal to give them a 3-all result towards the end of the match. So at the end of the day, they delivered on what I expected. Because when you go to Luton's home ground, for some reason, they don't play like they just came up. They play you pound for pound. They're one of the best pound for pound teams I've seen in the Premier League this season at home. And so they gave Chelsea something to think about in the last 10 minutes of the match. Unfortunately, Cole Palmer had done enough to just get Chelsea out of their reach, and Chelsea gets away with all 3 points. But for Chelsea, somehow, it seems that win or lose, they remain in the same place. And I pray for everybody in 2024 that Chelsea is not your portion, because we know 10th, lose 10th, draw 10th.
Wow.
What kind of miserable life is that? Look, it's better to fail and go back, or
that
to
looks like
win and go
consistency,
forward.
Tega. Some may argue that's
No,
consistency.
it is stagnancy. Consistency and stagnancy look alike, but one is bad and one is good. That is stagnancy. I reject every Chelsea spirit in your career if you are in 2024 in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, Zibby, you thought you could win a bit. I got back. I got back.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'll give you this one.
The good news is that Chelsea has put one result on top of the other, which is something that neither Manchester United or Arsenal have been able to do. Yeah, Arsenal had to come in.
Oh God, I just thought probably this at that point would not get Arsenal coming in as more like an icing again, but yeah, you dropped it again. But I've got a big amen coming from Big Mayor saying to that prayer, Chelsea is not my position this year. That's what Big Mayor on our YouTube channel leaves us in responding to your prayer. Then Mayowa Oshadari from Marina comes up with a message, and he says, I hope Arteta looks in the mirror and stops playing favoritism and uses squad properly. He needs a striker and needs to fix up tactics. God bless you. That's what Mayowa from Ikeja left us with. HEK is here. HEK's message goes, see prayers, so may Chelsea not be your portion. Don't stand in one place, so move ahead. Amen to that prayer. But I am a Chelsea fan, though. So Big E, the final message for this morning, and then it comes up saying, Tega, the joy of your experience now was sponsored by Mikel Arteta, and I blame him with the line of why is Nketiah starting a match for Gunners? If Arsenal don't get it this transfer window with an attack and a defense will be doomed. Tega, he reached Arsenal turn for banter. You will finish all the words in English to drag Arsenal. At least we better pass Chelsea. No progress on moving up or down. God forbid it this year for him. And then just
wow. NGK says, so the elephant fell off and took along with it the branches while the tree trunk stands. How will the elephant climb now and see where to sit?
Abby.
All right. Mohammed says, Tega, go sit down, I beg. So will you accept a reduction in salary for the same work? Wait, what?
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know that one. I don't know that one. All right. On that note, I just want to say thank you for sending in your messages. Thank you for listening to us on radio. Thank you for tuning into YouTube. And hopefully this year we'll have more banter, more joy, and more happiness in 2024. So till we see you again on Wednesday, it's bye from me.
Aspire to Maguire.
That is it for the locker room. Stay with us, Lagos.